Welcome, and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to start exploring the symbolism of the planets. Our primary exploration of the planets will be their nature, the alchemical metal associated with them, and the tarot cards associated with them. Now these do correspond to the chakras, however I'm not going to really work with them in these videos that way. I do agree with the assignments that Dennis William Huck gave to them in his book, Sorcerer's Stone, with Saturn being the root chakra, and then following how they are arranged in the galaxy. So the sun is the crown chakra. Some will place the sun at the solar plexus chakra, but I think that is simply because that chakra has the word solar in it. Mars ruling the solar plexus makes more sense to me personally, as that is the willpower. Keep in mind when we work with archetypal systems, there is some subjectivity in what the meanings of the symbols mean. That's okay because it promotes people to think and meditate upon them. We give symbols meaning. Sometimes the collective agrees and sometimes it doesn't. Either way, in this series we will start with Saturn and then work upward to the sun. Now Dennis William Huck says that this is a part of alchemy. He calls it climbing the ladder of planets on page 96 of Sorcerer's Stone. The 7 planets are common and familiar topic to most people. We're going to stay with the classic 7 planets that can be seen with the naked eye. These are the planets that the medieval alchemist would have been familiar with and tracked. If you look up the root meaning of the word planet, it actually means wanderers. They were the 7 aspects in the sky that moved, whereas all the other stars were fixed. The original 7 includes the sun and moon. Only in modern times, when we had the telescope, did we discover there were other suns and other moons, creating them as their own categories. Originally, they were lumped in with stars that wandered the sky. While the sun and moon are the largest wanderers in the sky, the rest are just as important, if not more so, as we will see as we travel the ladder of the 7 planets. We will be using both astrology and alchemy. The 7 planets, if you are not familiar with the classical list, are Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Moon, and Sun. The 7 metals associated with the planets are lead, tin, iron, copper, mercury, silver, and gold. At one point, humanity assigned the concept of godhood onto the 7 wanderers, but that was a misleading error. In more modern astrology, the planets are seen as subtle forces of nature. We will be exploring the planets from this perspective. We will be using 5 sources to study these archetypes. Dennis William Huck's Sorcerer's Stone, A Beginner's Guide to Alchemy, Kabbalistic Astrology by Rabbi Joel C. Dobin, Planet Narnia by Michael Ward, Paul Foster Case's The Tarot, A Key to the Wisdom of the Ages, and Thursday Night Tarot by Jason C. Lauderhand. Some of these sources may be a surprise. I think Planet Narnia is probably the biggest one. There is a large amount of information on how C.S. Lewis viewed the planets that really set a sort of mood for them, and it's fun to think that he wrote books expressing their nature. There is also quite a bit of alchemy in the book, Planet Narnia. I admit, I stepped into astrology a skeptic. I didn't believe that the planets meant very much. I started listening to astrology simply to learn how astrologers referred to the planets as symbols, because I heard that they were originally a system of 7. Even now, since other planets were discovered, it's still a 7 system. Instead of being full symbols of their own, the outer planets that have been discovered, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are considered evolved versions, called higher octaves, referring to them in a musical term of the original 7. Therefore, even to understand the newer additions, it behooves us to have a really good understanding of the basic archetypes of the original 7. From there, one can intuit what an evolved form of that archetype might mean. When I studied astrology, I discovered a depth to the planets that I did not expect. The stories of the gods associated with the planets are interesting, but very distracting. Far more interesting to me are the associations with the metal. That is why we are covering the 7 metals associated with these planets, to reveal their deeper nature as forces instead of personifying them through myth. Without the personified stories of the planets, I find them even more interesting. I think it is fascinating that they correspond to the 7 chakras of the body. Perhaps they are the chakras of a much larger, energetic being than us, of which we are all a part. Hopefully, whether you are a student of astrology or alchemy, you'll find something new in this video the videos that will follow. We will be looking at the tarot cards associated with the different planets as well to understand their nature. Each of these videos will be a bit of a journey into areas not usually explored when studying the planets. I wanted to make these videos a unique perspective on the planets. That's why we are covering them from a different angle than normal. I've never seen the planets discussed using their metal or tarot cards, so as usual, I will be sharing my learning journey with you. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me, and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.